What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Lunch Table Sports Podcast. Today, we're coming with you with a post-free agency mock draft. Pretty crazy free agency to say the least. I feel like there are so many trades. You got the Justin Fields trade, Kirk Cousins switching teams. Some pretty big time movement elsewhere. I felt like a lot of people were getting cut. So Adyn, let's just start with this. What was your favorite move of the NFL offseason?
It's a good question. There's a lot of good moves, I thought. A lot of teams I think got better. I don't know if I could just pick one. I could give you I don't know. I liked Keenan Allen to Chicago a lot. I think him and DJ Moore will be a really good, like DJ Moore is really like more of a slot guy, I think, or he's pretty versatile, but I think they're different receivers and they'll complement each other well. I like that. I like the Kirk to Atlanta. I think Atlanta will have a good offense next year, if they run it right. I don't know. Um, I thought the Lions made some good moves. I'll say the Keenan Allen one.
Allen.
Yeah, I think Keenan Allen to the Bears was a good pickup for Chicago, and didn't
Yeah,
have to give up much either.
I agree. And I think their quarterback, who I'm going to be projecting them here at one, Caleb Williams. I mean, that transition from that college offense to the NFL offense, I think won't be hard for him at all, especially when he's throwing to DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. He's clearly the best quarterback in this draft class. I just think, I mean, his pro day was today. Keenan Allen was there. Um, So I think, I mean, this is a perfect situation to go to if you're a rookie quarterback. They're all in. Like last mock draft, we still were on the fence. Are they committed to Fields? Maybe they trade the pick, but no, they're 100% locked into Caleb Williams, it seems like. So we'll see. I think he's got all the tools to be a legendary NFL quarterback. It honestly just depends on his mindset at this point, and I think the Bears are setting him up for the best situation.
Yeah, I agree, and I'll keep it short with these kind of uh reviews, I guess, from my end. I think Caleb Williams to the Bears is a good choice. I'm still a little bit weary on his dad and whatever in his camp, his behind the scenes stuff. It's a little bit sketchy if I'm Chicago, but I think you got to take the best player available, and they traded Justin Fields, so they got to go all in on a new quarterback, and I think Caleb Williams is the best one in the draft. So good pick.
For sure. Next pick, a little bit of a switch up from last time. I got the Commanders selecting Jaden Daniels, quarterback from LSU. I mean, me personally, I got Drake May over Jaden Daniels, but not by much. Jaden Daniels to Washington kind of seems more likely than not right now, especially in a lot of the mock drafts that I've been seeing. Still a toss-up could go either way, but I think he'll fit right in this Washington offense, especially with Cliff Kingsbury at calling the plays. We saw what he did with the running quarterback and Kyler Murray. And then he had some say in this USC offense too last this past couple of years with Caleb Williams. So I think he'll definitely mesh well with Jane Daniels. Jane Daniels is an elite deep ball, has an elite deep ball, good arm, very accurate quarterback. Can scramble a lot. He's deadly. He's very lethal with his legs. Heisman winner. Um, so yeah, he's definitely more pro ready than Drake May, I'll say. But I think the offense he's going into, him and Cliff Kingsbury, I think they can make some magic happen.
Yeah, I like that you brought that up a lot. Actually, Cliff Kingsbury's a he's has a good reputation with quarterbacks, and I think if they take Jaden Daniels here, he won the Heisman last year. He's proven himself. He's a little bit older, um, so he'll be ready to step in right away. And then there's a lot of quarterback needy teams in this draft this year, so kind of take your pick. We know how these drafts have gone kind of recently with quarterbacks. It's kind of hit or miss. So yeah, Jaden Daniels. I hope he works out if he goes to Washington. I like that pick if I'm them a lot.
Yeah, three at New England here. They're just picking the best quarterback available at this point. Um, and that's Drake May. Drake May, I mean, he kind of just feels like a New England Patriot. I know it's a full new regime there, new coach, new GM, but still kind of just feels like a New England Patriot. He's got the arm, he's got the legs, he's got, everything up here. It just depends how he'll get developed. Um, maybe he's not as NFL ready as Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, but I think he has all the tools to be an elite quarterback. My comparison for him is Justin Herbert. So going to New England, I think it might be a rocky start for whatever quarterback goes to New England. They're losing some guys in that O line. The running game isn't the strongest. They don't have like a go-to receiver. but I think you're just banking on this being your quarterback of the future. Yeah, maybe his first couple of years are rough, but then you just smooth things out. So if you're New England here, I think you got to go best quarterback available.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think if you're New England, you take Drake May here at 3. You got to be looking towards the future. He's not going to step in and kind of like be, I don't know. I don't want to say he's not going to step in and do well, because he probably will if I say that, but I think this is a pick for the future. I think the first couple of years, just like you said, are going to be a little bit rough. Maybe fans will get impatient and stuff, but the Mac Jones thing didn't work out, so they're moving on to Drake May, and I actually like it a lot.
Yeah, next pick, arguably the number one guy in the draft, Marvin Harrison Jr. We see the Cardinals. They lost Marquise Brown and the Chiefs in free agency. They traded Rondell Moore to the Falcons. Um, they lost the receiver. I'm blanking on his name right now. But they lost kind of their top three receivers this offseason. They need a receiver desperately, and they got the best player in the draft here, in my opinion, Marvin Harrison Jr. He's a go-to weapon. Um, he's a true number one receiver. He's got the height, weight, speed. He's fantastic at the point of attack. Catch radius is crazy. So you need to give Kyler Murray weapons in this offense. We kind of see him struggle with that last year, especially when some of his receivers were hurt down the stretch. Kyler Murray is still, I believe, an elite quarterback, even though he hasn't had the best years, last couple of years. He's been hurt, but I still believe in him, and I think giving him a true number one receiver will work wonders for this team.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think a team like the Cardinals, they don't need a quarterback like some of these other teams. So then getting Kyler Murray some help is the perfect choice, and getting the best player in the draft, I think, arguably, um, obviously is going to be a good pick. So I like this a lot if I'm Arizona.
Yeah, pick five here. I got the Chargers selecting Malik Neighbors, wide receiver from LSU. Um, the Chargers just kind of blew their team up in the offseason. New regime, Jim Harbaugh. Um, they traded away Keenan Allen. They cut Mike Williams. That's not a recipe for success for Justin Herbert. You need to give him weapons. Quentin Johnson honestly didn't have the best rookie year. A lot of drops from him. Josh Palmer, I think, is a solid receiver, but you need some explosiveness in this offense. You lost your pretty much all three your weapons with Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, and Keenan Allen. You need to let Herbert cook, and I think giving him a speed threat like Neighbors, he's just pure electricity. Like he just feels like a Charger. He's electric when he's on the field. He has that LA media personality. So I think it'd be a great match for the Chargers here.
Yeah, I totally agree. I like this a lot. It's a good pick for you here by the Chargers. Just like you said, they lost Keenan Allen, they cut Mike Williams. They need someone to step in and kind of take the keys to that receiver room, and kind of help Justin Herbert out. It was a tough year for the Chargers last year, so I think getting a young receiver like this who has big playability, and he's gonna bring fans to the stadium, and I don't know, be maybe the next big wide receiver pairing with Justin Herbert, if they develop him well and everything. So I think for the Chargers, this is a great pick.
Yeah. Next, I'm blowing this draft up. Six Giants, JJ McCarthy. He had an outstanding combine, and this has been the big rumor now. Do the Giants move on from Daniel Jones? And it seems like it's trending that way, that they're heavily interested in JJ McCarthy. The Commanders GM and head coach recently flew to Ann Arbor to have dinner with JJ McCarthy. It's been, the big rumor. I've been seeing it everywhere, that they're heavily interested in him. And I don't think it'd be the worst thing for McCarthy. He'll probably sit behind Daniel Jones for a year, maybe even a couple of games if Jones isn't the guy, which I don't really think Jones is the guy. I think he kind of hoaxed the franchise into paying him after that big kind of playoff run. But this year he was just abysmal. And I think if you're sitting here at six, a lot of people might not like McCarthy because he wasn't asked to do much in Michigan. But I think that's just there shouldn't be a valid take to not draft him because he has all the tools that these top quarterbacks have, if not better. He can use his legs. He's got a cannon of an arm. Yeah, he's a little raw in kind of his ball placement and kind of overall touch on the ball, but I think that can easily be developed in the league. I think if you're the Giants, I feel like have been so mid for so long that they just need that franchise guy. JJ McCarthy just seems like he just has New York written all over him. I feel like that city would love him. And yeah, I don't know if it plays out this way. Maybe the Vikings trade up, maybe the Giants trade down, but it seems like JJ McCarthy is almost a lock to go top six at this point.
Yeah, and I don't know. I like this pick too. If I'm New York, I think JJ McCarthy did everything he was asked to do at Michigan. Was 3-0 against Ohio State, won a national championship. He's a proven winner. He steps up big in big time moments. Just like I said, he did everything Jim Harbaugh and that Michigan staff asked of him, everything that was needed of him to do. And I think for the Giants, getting a guy like this who's a proven winner and knows what it takes, would be a good thing for that organization and for that team just to get some stability at quarterback. I think since Eli Manning's been gone, and Daniel Jones has kind of taken over, it's been a little shaky. And just like you said, I don't think he's the guy long term. I don't think he's going to be the guy that's going to compete with Mahomes and Burrow and Herbert and all these other guys in the league, for Super Bowls. So yeah, I think this would be a good pick for New York for sure.
Yeah, pick 7 here. I got the Titans selecting Joe Alt, tackle from Notre Dame. Titans again, they had a pretty crazy offseason too. They gave huge money to Calvin Ridley to make him a Titan. Now you got a pretty scary receiving core of D Hop, Ridley, and younger receiver Traylon Burks. Yeah, you lost Derrick Henry. They signed Tony Pollard too. So I feel like this draft has to be about protecting Will Levis. You got your weapons around him. Now let's give him protection, and then let's see if he can what he can do. He really has no excuse to do bad this year. Will Levis. So you're really going to test him out to see if he's the guy. Drafting him a franchise left tackle would be the perfect step. He's one of the best tackles in the past couple of years that I've seen, dating all the way back to Penei Sewell. He tested outstanding at the combine. So I think alt here for the Titans is your franchise left tackle moving forward. You got to protect Levis.
Yeah, this pick makes a ton of sense. I think the Titans actually had a sneaky good offseason. They lost there kind of like you said, but they made some good moves. And I think drafting a guy like Joe Walt makes a lot of sense. Getting a franchise guy in there, there's someone that's going to be in the trenches and be there for the next 10 years or so, 10 years plus, and be kind of that cornerstone of that whole line that you can win championships with is very important. So I think just like you said, protecting Will Levis and if you're really going to give him the keys to the offense, just get him all the help you can get. And yeah, this makes a lot of sense if I'm Nashville or Tennessee.
Yeah, pick A here. Falcons like Dallas Turner. I think they did a great job addressing the offense. Like we kind of talked about a little bit earlier. Kirk Cousins, they got a new head coach there, Raheem Morris from LA. It's not going to be the same kind of boring offense that Arthur Smith ran that didn't really utilize their weapons. Like they're going to utilize Bijan, they're going to utilize Kyle Pitts, they're going to utilize Drake London. I like the signings of Darnell Mooney and the Rondale Moore trade, just giving this offense even more speed. So I think you go defense here if you're Atlanta. You need talent on the defense, as much talent as you can get. And at this point, just draft the best defender available, and that's Dallas Turner. His speed and athleticism off the edge, he reminds me a lot of his former teammate Will Anderson from last year. So I would really like Turner going to the Falcons here.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think they made a lot of plays in free agency on the offensive side of the ball. So drafting defense makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, 9 here. Bears. I got Jared Verse, defensive end. For a while I thought the Bears could go receiver here. That's until they traded for Keenan Allen. And then they kind of have a glaring need at opposite Montez Sweat. And I'll tell you what, the Bears are looking so scary. And this is coming from a Lions fan. I would not want to face this team at all next year. I think they can definitely give the Lions a run for their money in the division. So here you get Verse, and then now you have a defensive end tandem of Jared Verse and Montez Sweat. That would be lethal for the Bears.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think they're players for a wide receiver maybe here just to keep adding help to Caleb Williams. But I think drafting Marvin Harrison earlier on in the first round, going defense here makes a lot of sense. So I totally agree. Jared Verse, I think best player available at this point in the draft, and it would be a great addition to their defensive line.
Number 10, I got the Jets selecting Romo Dunze, wide receiver from Washington. No, Dunze, in my opinion, is right up there with Marvin Harrison Jr. as one of the best receivers in this draft and players in this draft. I think the Jets, it's just how can we help Rodgers? We see them add 2 new tackles in the offseason in Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses. So I think that kind of is addressing their tackle position. I think that kind of points signs they want to get a receiver. They signed Mike Williams in free agency. They got Garrett Wilson, but they don't really have anyone else. I think Odunze would make a three-headed monster for the New York Jets. And in a division that's kind of up for grabs, you see the Bills kind of lost some players. The Patriots really aren't that competitive. And then the Dolphins, they kind of lost some guys too. So with the division up for grabs, I feel like Odunze here, it'll make AFC corners scared.
I totally agree. I think the Jets would be salivating to get Odunze here at this point in the draft. So you said he's right up there with Marvin Harrison Jr. And Aaron Rodgers, I think coming back, he's trying to bounce back from last year. We'll see how it goes, but just like you said, adding another piece to this offense is obviously going to help. And Aaron Rodgers, if he comes back and he's the old Aaron Rodgers, then look out in that AFC.
Yeah, for sure. Now, all right, now I'm gonna go quicker. Go through the next five picks. Aiden's gonna pick his favorite. 11 here, we got the Vikings taking Quinion Mitchell, corner out of Toledo. I think the Vikings for sure go quarterback in this draft, but I don't do trades in my mock drafts. So here I don't have the Vikings traded up for McCarthy. So here they stay put and take the best cornerback in the draft. 12, I have the Broncos selecting Laiatu Latu, edge from UCLA. Again, I think the Broncos could be in play for quarterback, but I just don't think with this pick in the first round that they will get one. So why not add one of the better edge defenders in the draft they desperately need? 13, I got the Raiders selecting Talisi Fuaga, tackle from Oregon State. I'm a huge Fuaga fan, and he's actually tied with Joe Alt for my number one tackle in the draft. He'll be your right tackle immediately. So just whether it's Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell, quarterback, just protecting him and letting him have time to throw would be huge. 14 Saints, Olu Fashanu, tackle Penn State. He's kind of fallen in some mock drafts that I've seen, and he didn't have an amazing combine. But I still think he's one of the better left tackles in the draft. I think if the Saints here, Trevor Penning didn't really work out, so you got to take Fashanu here. 15 Colts, Tyrion Arnold, cornerback out of Alabama. It's really a debate between him and Quinion Mitchell. I think the Colts would be happy to land Arnold or Mitchell here at 15, and Tyrion Arnold's available. So he'll start opposite Juju Brents. And then 16, I have the Seahawks selecting Troy Fatanu, guard from Washington. Fatanu played left tackle at Washington for this Joe Moore award-winning offensive line. I think he'll slide into guard for the Seahawks, who lost Damian Lewis in free agency. So I think just keeping this offense running is what the Seahawks need to do, and Fatanu will do that.
Yeah, a lot of good guys here, but I'm gonna go with Terry and Arnold, Alabama. I'm a big fan of Alabama guys just because I think they know what it takes to win. And Alabama last year they had a bounce back year, and they showed some character with those guys in that room and team. And I think he's a dog. He competes on the field, and that's all you can really ask for out of a cornerback. Just compete, and he's got that kind of Jalen Ramsey type feel to him. Just the way he acts and plays. So if I'm the Colts, I love this pick.
Yeah, 17 here. I got the Jaguars selecting Nate Wiggins, cornerback out of Clemson. Jaguars, let go of Shaquille Griffin last year and then cut Darius Williams this year. They need another corner opposite Tyson Campbell on this team. So I think Nate Wiggins makes a lot of sense here. 18 Bengals. I got Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver from LSU. This is my T. Higgins replacement for the Bengals. We know T. Higgins demanded a trade. It'll probably come later, probably more close to the draft as teams kind of figure out their free agency needs. Brian Thomas Jr., 6'4". He reminds me so much of T. Higgins. You're drafting T. Higgins 2.0 here. You shored up that offensive line um, for the Bengals in the offseason. So I thought that was good. And then adding Brian Thomas here would just help out Burrow so much. 19 Rams, Byron Murphy. We saw Aaron Donald retire. So that kind of opens up a glaring need at defensive tackle, and Byron Murphy, kind of an Aaron Donald type player, slides in and can fill that role. 20 Steelers, Jackson Power Johnson. Really like his game. He's just kind of a mauler at run blocker at center, can pass protect too. And I think, whether it's Fields or Russell Wilson at quarterback for the Steelers, just protecting them should be their goal. 21, I got the Dolphins selecting Amarius Mims, tackle out of Georgia. Mims is just a stud athlete. For his size, he moves so well. And I think keeping Tua upright's got to be your goal. So him opposite Teron Armstead will be a fantastic tackle duo for years to come.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Brian Thomas Jr. here, LSU. So you said losing T. Higgins soon here. They're gonna need to replace him. And I think just like you said, this is kind of a T. Higgins type receiver. They've got Jamar Chase for those big plays. So a guy like this who can go up, he's a big receiver, 6'4", 205. He can go up and get those jump balls. He's got a big catch radius. He can be a big good target in the red zone. And really just helping out Burrow. I think the Bengals need to have a bounce back year this year. And getting Burrow all the help he can get is definitely going to help with that. So Brian Thomas Jr. is my liking guy there.
Yeah. 22 Eagles, Cooper DeJean, cornerback, Iowa. He's just a Swiss Army knife. He can play outside corner, nickel, safety, wherever you want him to play. He's a game changer. This Eagles pass defense was atrocious last year, so I think adding DeJean will be huge. 23 Vikings, I got Braden Fisk, defensive tackle from Florida State. Western Michigan transfer. He blew up the combine. I think the Vikings, obviously, I still think they'll trade up for a quarterback, but with no trades here, they have a need at defensive tackle. Fisk will fill that need. 24 Cowboys. I got Graham Barton, center out of Duke. They lost Tyler Biadasz in free agency to the Commanders. Him following Dan Quinn. So you get your new starting center here in Barton. 25 Packers. I got J.C. Latham, tackle out of Alabama. Um, Latham's just a behemoth of a man. He's a brick wall. He's a stone wall. He's not going to let you past him if he gets his hands on you. And I think the Packers, especially with them cutting David Bakhtiari, definitely needs a tackle. And then 26 here, I got the Buccaneers selecting Chop Robinson, edge out of Penn State. Buccaneers just need as much talent as they can on that defense. So I think adding Chop Robinson here, he's a little bit of a raw of a pass rusher, but he's got all the tools to be a great one.
Yeah, a lot of good guys there again, but I'm gonna go Cooper DeJean here. Um, just like you said, he can play all over the field. He can basically do anything on the defensive side of the ball. And I totally agree. I think the Eagles defense, specifically on the passing side, needs to have a bounce back year. And Cooper DeJean is definitely going to help with that. So I like this pick a lot if I'm Philly.
Yeah, for sure. 27, I got the Cardinals selecting Jerzon Newton, defensive tackle from Illinois. He's right up there with Fisk and Murphy as one of my favorite defensive tackle players in this draft. Cardinals need to add some talent to that defense, and I think Newton is a immediate starter in that defense. 28 got the Bills selecting Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver from Texas. Bills just need to add weapons for Josh Allen. I feel like it's so often that they kind of have Stephon Diggs, Dalton Kincaid, and then that's kind of it for their offense. They need talent, and Adonai Mitchell reminds me so much of CeeDee Lamb. He's my fourth receiver in this class. He's actually a lot closer to Neighbors and Odunze than people would like to think. So I think adding him here for the Bills would be a home run hit. 29, I have the Lions selecting Kool-Aid McKinstry, cornerback out of Alabama. I think this would be an awesome pick for the Lions. I like him just as much as Tyrion Arnold, and to get him like 14 spots later, is pretty huge. And Cam Sutton, unfortunately, is arrested for domestic abuse. Look, it's looking like they'll cut him. So I think I really like the Carlton Davis trade in the offseason. So I think Davis and McKinstry can be your new cornerback tandem moving forward. 30 Ravens, Tyler Guyton, right tackle out of Oklahoma. I feel like the Ravens just always get good players falling to him. So right here, he immediately fills the hole at right tackle that Morgan Moses left. 31 Niners, Zach Frazier. I think he can slide in and be an immediate impact guard for them. And then 32, I have the Chiefs selecting Darius Robinson, edge from Missouri. Robinson blew up the Senior Bowl. I think the Chiefs just pick best player available here, and Darius Robinson is that for me.
Yeah, a lot of good guys again there, but I'm gonna go with the Lions pick, Kool-Aid McKinstry. So like I said in the last video, I think he's got the coolest name in the draft for sure. And he's a Lions type player. I think Dan Campbell would love this guy. Um, and the Lions made got a lot of good moves this offseason, but still need a big draft. So if I'm the Lions, getting a guy like Kool-Aid McKinstry this late in the draft or this late in the first round, sorry, I think you got to be happy with that value. So I like this pick a lot if I'm Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell.
For sure. Well, that wraps up today's video. Um, had a fun time going over the mock draft. We'll see what goes forward for here with all these rumors, and there'll probably be some more couple big moves. We'll see if the Lions do anything else. But you got any thoughts before we wrap up here?
No, yeah, totally agree. It was a really interesting free agency for sure, and I think this draft will probably be even more interesting. So yeah, I'm just excited. I can't wait to watch it and see how it goes down, see how it all plays out.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see you guys in the next one.